When the Winchesters premiered in October 2022, hopes were high that the supernatural prequel would capture even a fraction of the original series' magic. Yet, instead of becoming the next chapter in CW's long-running legacy, it was cancelled after just one season. Many dismissed it as an unnecessary cash-in on the Winchester name, a hollow echo of what came before. But 2 years later, the show's unexpected resurgence on streaming platforms has prompted a reevaluation. Beneath its short lifespan lies a moody, thoughtful, and surprisingly ambitious dark fantasy that deserved far more than the quiet send-off it received. A return to the roots of supernatural with a gothic twist. The Winchesters cleverly mirrored the narrative foundation that launched Supernatural. Where the original began with Sam and Dean's search for their missing father, the spin-off flipped the premise. This time, Mary Campbell was searching for her missing father, with John Winchester reluctantly drawn into her world. It was a smart narrative echo that kept the legacy intact while allowing the story to stand on its own. Rather than relying on modern road trip Americana, the Winchesters leaned heavily into Gothic atmosphere. Candlelit basements replaced neon-lit motels. Vintage rituals and smoky cinematography evoked an old-world eeriness rarely seen on network television. Set in the post-Vietnam War era, the show drew on paranoia and trauma, blending horror and history in a way that felt fresh. Demons were once again terrifying instead of comic relief, a welcome return to Supernatural's darker, more grounded tone. Reframing John and Mary's legacy. One of the boldest aspects of the Winchesters was its willingness to reimagine the lore surrounding John and Mary. Longtime fans of Supernatural remember that the original series established John as an ordinary mechanic unaware of the supernatural world when he met Mary. The prequel, however, told a different story, one where John quickly became involved in hunting and shared in Mary's dangerous life. At first glance, it felt like a continuity break, but the twist was intentional. Jensen Ackles, who both narrated and produced the series, made sure the contradictions had meaning. By showing John and Mary as partners in the hunt, the series subtly explored how John's idealism eventually hardened into the obsession we later saw in Supernatural. John's optimism, shaped by his military past and desire for purpose, gradually evolved into the tragedy of his future self. Meanwhile, Mary's portrayal by Meg Donnelly provided a refreshing contrast to the nurturing figure fans once knew. This Mary was fierce, decisive, and haunted, a natural leader shaped by the losses she endured. The chemistry between Donnelly and Drake Roger, John Winchester, created an emotional through line that grounded the series' wild mythology in human vulnerability. A series that honored its roots without mimicry. Unlike many reboots and prequels, the Winchesters didn't attempt to replicate Supernatural's charm. It sought to reinterpret it. It kept the Monster of the Week format, introduced new mythological threats, and found clever ways to deepen existing lore without feeling derivative. The Vietnam-era backdrop added a layer of melancholy and post-war disillusionment that gave the show an identity all its own. Where Supernatural centered on brotherhood, the Winchesters explored love, loss, and legacy, particularly how trauma passes from one generation to the next. It was less about destiny and more about the choices that lead people to become heroes or monsters. That thematic shift gave the prequel unexpected emotional weight, even if its first season didn't get the chance to fully realize it. Rediscovery and redemption. Now, years after its quiet cancellation, The Winchesters has begun trending again on streaming platforms, introducing itself to new audiences free from the expectations that once burdened it. For many, it's becoming clear that the show wasn't a failure of storytelling, it was a victim of timing. In a media landscape crowded with reboots and revivals, the Winchesters tried something braver. It looked backward to move the story forward. Its gothic sensibilities, rich character work, and willingness to question Supernatural's canon make it one of the most underrated dark fantasy series of its time. Perhaps, in this age of revived franchises and nostalgia-driven comebacks, the Winchesters will find new life again, not as a follow-up, but as the haunting love story and supernatural tragedy it was always meant to be.